Alright, let's talk about Velma. As was easily predictable, this show is an abomination. Now, we will preface everything by saying Velma is only 2 episodes into its first season, but that is the only time in this video we'll be giving Velma the benefit of the doubt. Velma is a reimagining of the jinkies-spouting, awkward, mousy, genius crime solver of the same name from Scooby-Doo, as we see the world through her thick-framed lenses. This is going to be her story told her way. At least that was the idea. Instead, what we got is, simply put, one of the worst, most hateful TV shows ever imagined, made by impotent rejects who just want a platform to lash out against people they don't like. This show presents itself as being self-aware, while it's made by people who have zero self-awareness themselves. This show is preachy, while pretending it doesn't take itself seriously. At no point in the 45 minutes of screen time thus far did this show come anywhere near just 1 second of something resembling entertainment. And that's from an objective standpoint, not an opinion-based one. The attempts at humor fall wildly short of their marks. The attempts at witty banter just end up all over the place. The show swings from offbeat, quirky humor straight into what are supposed to be serious issues and then back again with no pacing whatsoever. In fact, the more I write about this, the more I think the writers just prompted an AI program to write a script for an adult cartoon that hits all of their ideological checkboxes. That's more believable than thinking that humans got together, wrote this, proofread it, and then went through all of the other steps necessary to bring this to our living rooms. 3 out of the 4 main human characters from Scooby-Doo are race-swapped. Velma herself is an Indian girl, Daphne is now half Asian, and Shaggy is black and openly hates drugs. Oh, and he was renamed Norbert or Norville or Norton or something because they didn't want to have a black character named Shaggy. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act surprised or offended that they've race-swapped these characters for this trash. I fully expect it in every woke pile of crap these days. We'll just say that the creators are talentless hacks who can't get their original works made because they aren't any good, so they hijack existing brands for their built-in audiences and leave it at that. And to really round out their box-ticking approach to storytelling, Daphne's adopted, her moms are interracial lesbians, Velma's mom left their family, Velma has undiagnosed anxiety like everyone under 20, and Daphne and Velma have bisexual tendencies. You know, all the things you really need to know and see about characters stolen from a children's show. The first 5 minutes are packed to the gills with the exact kind of reflexive cursing and perverted jokes that only these kind of emotionally stunted, immature, underdeveloped, and over-socialized writers tend to use. And you can always tell when this is the case because it's like they can't stop themselves. They can't let a scene go by in their shows and movies without dropping in some unnecessary, distracting, gratuitous string of bad words, or having some perverse sexual reference just slip out because they're so cool, they know sex things. We are all for the odd sexual innuendo and the appropriately timed curse word when it can carry enough weight to justify its inclusion. But when you do these things every 30 seconds, they lose all impact and meaning, and you just come off like someone stuck in a state of arrested development who lacks even a shred of self-control. They try and portray this Velma as a quirky, intelligent, thoughtful, ingenious mystery solver who's been dealt a bad hand. But in reality, their version of Velma just comes off as an emotionally disturbed, maladjusted, entitled, judgmental, vindictive, extremely racist outcast who's been rightfully shunned from society. She's a cruel, vengeful monster, set on hurting those who she feels in her twisted little mind have wronged her as she takes out her unjust rage on Fred, her former best friend Daphne, and her dad's girlfriend. I'd love to see who's putting pen to paper in writing Velma because she is clearly just a self-inclusion for some writer who's got major issues and just wants to use this show to lash out at the world. After suffering through the first 2 episodes, the pervasive thought that kept entering my mind was why? Why did they make this? Who is this for? What type of person is going to sit there and enjoy this in any way? Well, if you look at the audience scores right now from Rotten Tomatoes, there's not much of anyone who's enjoying it. At 6%, Velma somehow managed to beat Blood Origin's previous record low of a 9% audience rating. It's unfathomable. It's really hard to even think of the appropriate words to describe how abysmal this rating is, and even at 6%, it's pretty generous. The show doesn't have a single redeeming quality to it. Nothing, nada, zilch. But returning to my previous thought as to why this show was made, I actually did find an answer to that, and his name is Fred. This show's singular focus seems to be simply to tear down and destroy Fred because he's a white male. And that reasoning is not conjecture. The show repeatedly mentions that he's white as a reason for him being evil. Fred is portrayed as a racist, misogynist, vain, entitled, self-absorbed, unstable, elitist, coddled little rich kid with daddy issues. In just 2 episodes, they showed Fred to be prepubescent, literally. They shot him in the kneecaps. The writers gave Fred a tiny penis and had it get exposed on camera. They dressed him up like a toddler. They made him appear like Hitler. They put him through an embarrassing court case and had him proclaimed guilty. I mean, these people are sick. No exaggeration, the creators of this show are mentally disturbed. They set out to tear down a fictional children's show character because of the color of his fictional skin. And for what? To shake their fists at the world and say, "We had it so hard, screw you, world." And they're saying all of this from their perch in Hollywood, the very epicenter of entitlement, nepotism, and actual privilege. It's just bizarre, but it's unfortunately not surprising these days to get more of this crap from these types of troubled, hateful people. I still can't fully believe that this is an actual attempt at a show. I'm thinking this is more than likely just some kind of rage bait designed to get cheap views off of the backlash that could have been seen and predicted a mile away. Well, if that's the case, it's too late for me, but save yourself some time and don't bother with this show. Don't give them what they want. I haven't decided if we'll do another season end video on Velma at this point. We'll see, but I don't think the remaining episodes can undo what this show's already done, and I doubt it can get any worse, so we're not very likely to have anything new worth saying by the end of it. But we'll see. In the meantime, hit that thumbs up and click the subscribe button below if you haven't already for comedy breakdowns and reviews of current shows and movies. Thank you for joining us here at HateWatchers today. Let us know in the comments below. Did you have an urge to check out Velma once all of the reviews started coming in? Does any of what they're doing with the show surprise you, or are you simply numb to it at this point? Thank you again, and we'll catch you on the next one.